When an older man wants to be close to you, truly close, he rarely says it directly. Instead, he starts asking certain questions, small ones that reveal big intentions. Questions that sound innocent on the surface, but carry deeper meaning underneath. A man's curiosity isn't always about getting to know you. Sometimes it's about getting to you. After counseling countless women over 60, I've noticed a pattern. The same 6 questions or topics come up again and again when a man is drawn to physical intimacy. And while some men ask these questions with genuine care, others use them as stepping stones toward something more immediate. Hi, it's Vernon again. In today's video, I'll share these 6 questions a man will bring up when he's drawn to you physically, and, more importantly, how to read the truth behind his words. Because understanding his intentions protects your heart and honors your worth. Before we dive in, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more elderly wisdom about love, boundaries, and understanding male psychology after 60. Your support means the world to me. Let's begin with the question most women mistake for casual interest, but it's often the first test. 1. Are you seeing anyone right now? The curious paradox is that when I accept myself just as I am, then I can change, Carl Rogers once said. And this first question is all about a man trying to figure out if you've accepted your single status or if you're actively looking to change it. This question sounds innocent enough, doesn't it? Natural conversation. But here's what's really happening. He's not just asking about your relationship status. He's positioning himself and measuring your emotional availability. When a man asks this early in your interactions, he's doing reconnaissance. He wants to know, are there competitors? Are there complications? And most tellingly, how much resistance might he encounter? A man with genuine intentions will ask this question as part of getting to know you as a whole person. He'll listen to your answer with patience, ask follow-up questions about what you're looking for, and respect whatever boundaries you set. But a man focused primarily on physical closeness, he's listening for something different. He's listening for loneliness, for availability, for signs that you might welcome his attention quickly. My friend Claire, who's 64 and part of my book club, shared her story with me recently. A gentleman she met at the community center asked her this question on their very first coffee meeting. When she mentioned she wasn't actively dating and was content with her independence, his interest visibly cooled. He never called again. Vernon, she told me, I realized he wasn't interested in my contentment. He was interested in my need. That distinction matters deeply. A man who values you will be intrigued by your completeness, not hunting for your emptiness. Watch how he responds to your answer. Does he celebrate your independence or probe for cracks in it? Does he seem relieved to hear you're single or genuinely curious about your life experience? But curiosity about your dating life isn't the only clue. The next question goes deeper, but not always for the right reasons. 2. Do you live alone? On the surface, this seems like caring conversation. He wants to know about your living situation, perhaps out of concern for your safety or genuine interest in your daily life. But let me share something I've learned through years of observing male psychology. When this question comes early, it's often less about concern and more about convenience. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit, Aristotle taught us. And unfortunately, some men have developed the habit of viewing women through the lens of accessibility rather than compatibility. A man asking about your living situation might be genuinely worried about your well-being, especially at our age, when living alone can present real challenges. He might be wondering if you have family nearby, if you feel safe, if you have the support you need. But he might also be calculating something entirely different. How easy would it be to spend time with you privately? Are there family members he'd need to meet? Neighbors who might notice his visits? Adult children who might ask questions? The difference lies in the timing and the tone. A man with sincere intentions will ask about your living situation as part of understanding your life circumstances. He might offer help, suggest safety measures, or simply express admiration for your independence. A man with primarily physical intentions will ask this question with a different energy, almost like he's taking inventory. You'll notice he doesn't dwell on the practical aspects of your answer, but moves quickly to other topics. Have you ever noticed someone asking this question too early in your acquaintance? I'd love to hear your experiences about how you handled it. The key is trusting your instincts. If this question feels premature or carries an undertone that makes you uncomfortable, that's your wisdom speaking. Listen to it. And when a man's curiosity turns personal, the next thing he often asks reveals how he sees your emotional boundaries. 3. What kind of relationship are you looking for? This is perhaps the trickiest question of all, because it can come from two completely different places in a man's heart. At its best, this question represents genuine compatibility seeking. A man who asks this with sincerity wants to understand your hopes, your boundaries, your vision for partnership. He's trying to determine if your paths might align. At its worst, this question is reconnaissance of a different sort. He's trying to figure out if you're the type of woman who requires courtship, commitment, and emotional investment, or if you might be open to something more casual. My sister, Margaret, who's 67, told me about a man she met through her church. On their second phone conversation, he asked her this very question. When she answered honestly that she was looking for genuine companionship and possibly remarriage someday, his response was telling. "Oh, that sounds really serious. I'm probably not ready for anything that deep." The best way to find out if you can trust somebody is to trust them, Ernest Hemingway wrote. But Margaret's instinct told her something different. That his question wasn't about building trust, but about avoiding it. A man with honorable intentions will ask this question and then honor your answer. He won't try to negotiate your standards down or suggest that you're being too rigid. He won't hint that you should see how things develop if you've expressed a desire for something committed. But a man primarily interested in physical intimacy will ask this question hoping to hear certain words. I'm flexible. I don't need labels. I just want to see what happens. These responses tell him that you might not require the emotional investment that deeper relationships demand. Pay attention to how he responds when you articulate your genuine desires. Does he respect them, or does he immediately start suggesting alternatives? Share this video with your friends or women's groups. So many of us need to recognize these patterns and support each other in maintaining our standards. But words about relationships can be deceptive. The next question tests something much deeper. 4. What do you miss most about being in love? Now, this question sounds romantic, doesn't it? Almost poetic. It seems like he's inviting you to share your deepest feelings about love and connection. And sometimes that's exactly what it is. But more often than I'd like to admit, this question is emotional fishing. He's not asking because he wants to provide what you're missing. He's asking because he wants to know how much you're missing it. The wound is the place where the light enters you, Rumi taught us. But some men, unfortunately, see your wounds not as places for light to enter, but as places for them to enter. When a man asks what you miss about being in love, listen carefully to how he responds to your answer. If you mention missing companionship, does he talk about being a good companion? If you mention missing feeling cherished, does he speak about cherishing you? Or does he focus on the physical aspects of your answer? Does he guide the conversation toward what you miss about touch, about passion, about the physical expression of love? A man with genuine romantic interest will hear your emotional needs and speak to them. He'll share what he misses too. He'll create space for vulnerability and connection. A man primarily interested in physical intimacy will use your answer as a roadmap, not to your heart, but to your longing. He'll position himself as the solution to your loneliness without offering the substance that would actually heal it. I've noticed that this question often comes when a man senses you might be emotionally vulnerable. Perhaps you've mentioned being divorced, widowed, or single for a long time. He's testing whether that vulnerability might translate into availability for something immediate rather than meaningful. The most important thing to remember is this: your longing for love is sacred. It deserves to be met with respect, not exploited for convenience. If a man asks what you miss about love, you have every right to ask him the same question. His answer will tell you everything you need to know about his intentions. And when emotions enter the room, the next topic he brings up often sounds innocent, but it carries intention. 5. Do you like to be touched, held? Here we are entering more intimate territory, and this is where your discernment becomes absolutely crucial. This question isn't automatically inappropriate. Physical affection is a legitimate part of human connection, especially for those of us who've been married before and understand the importance of compatible love languages. The key is timing, context, and intention. Trust is built when no one is looking, Seth Godin reminds us. And a man's trustworthiness is often revealed by when and how he approaches the topic of physical affection. A man with sincere romantic intentions might bring this up after you've established emotional connection, trust, and mutual interest. He might share his own needs for affection and ask about yours as part of understanding compatibility. The conversation feels natural, respectful, and mutual. But a man primarily focused on physical intimacy will ask this question prematurely. It might come up on a first date, or even before you've met in person. The question carries an energy of testing your boundaries rather than understanding your heart. Watch the context, too. Is this question arising from a conversation about emotional intimacy and relationship compatibility? Or does it seem to come from nowhere, like he's steering the conversation toward physical territory? And notice his response to your answer. If you express that physical affection is important to you, does he talk about the emotional foundation that makes touch meaningful? Or does he immediately become more physically forward? If you express that you prefer to take physical affection slowly, does he respect that boundary and assure you there's no pressure? Or does he try to convince you that you're being too cautious? Remember, there's nothing wrong with wanting physical affection. It's a beautiful part of human connection. But that desire deserves to be honored within the context of respect, timing, and genuine care for your whole person. When a man wants closeness but doesn't know how to say it directly, he'll ask something even simpler.
6. Do you ever get lonely?
This might be the most powerful question on our list because it strikes at the heart of human vulnerability. And sadly, it's often the most manipulated. Loneliness is something most of us over 60 have experienced. We've lost spouses, seen children move away, watched friendships fade. It's a natural part of the human experience, especially as we age. But that natural vulnerability should never be used as a doorway to inappropriate intimacy. When I first met my late wife, I did ask her this question. But it came after months of friendship, and I asked it because I genuinely wanted to understand her inner world. I shared my own experiences with loneliness too. It was part of building emotional intimacy and mutual understanding. But I've seen this question used very differently by other men. They ask it early, they ask it strategically, and they ask it hunting for a specific answer. Out of your vulnerabilities will come your strength, Sigmund Freud observed. But some men see your vulnerabilities as their opportunity. A man with honorable intentions will ask about loneliness as part of understanding your emotional landscape. If you admit to feeling lonely sometimes, he'll respond with empathy, share his own experiences with solitude, and suggest healthy activities or communities you might enjoy together. A man primarily interested in physical intimacy will hear your admission of loneliness as an opening. He'll position himself as the immediate solution. He'll suggest that he can fix your loneliness, often with implications that physical closeness is the remedy. The difference is profound. One man wants to understand your loneliness, the other wants to exploit it. Pay attention to how this conversation unfolds. Does he ask follow-up questions about what helps you when you feel lonely? Does he talk about his own experiences with solitude? Does he suggest healthy activities or communities you might enjoy together? Or does he immediately offer himself as the solution? Does he hint that spending time together, especially privately, would cure your loneliness? I encourage you to save this video to watch again whenever you need a reminder about reading the true intentions behind someone's words. Watching until now, you've learned that real connection speaks softly, while hidden motives speak fast. Each question in itself can be perfectly innocent. The right man asking these questions at the right time with the right heart is simply getting to know you. But the wrong man asking these questions is gathering intelligence for a campaign that serves his desires, not your dignity. A man's questions reveal what his heart or his ego is truly seeking. When a man values you, his curiosity feels respectful, not rushed. It builds bridges to your soul, not shortcuts to your bedroom. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are, Carl Jung taught us. And who you truly are deserves to be known, cherished, and respected completely. Not just the parts of you that satisfy someone else's immediate desires. Tell me in the comments, of these 6 signs, which question have you encountered that made you stop and reconsider someone's intentions? Like this video, subscribe for more relationship wisdom, and check out our other videos about understanding male psychology after 60. And I'm Vernon. Thanks for watching till now, and see you in the next video.